Hi everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Blair and today's video is actually a full face of Miss A makeup. So if you're not familiar with Miss A, they are an online and I believe in store, in some places, retailer that sells very affordable makeup, like $1 makeup. And they reached out to me and asked if they could send me some makeup to do a full face and share with you guys. So of course, I said yes, I wanted to try this stuff. So this is the look that I created. If you're interested in all of the things that I got and how I got this look with Miss A makeup, please keep watching and let's get started. Okay, so I have everything spread out in front of me. I took everything out of the big bag that it came in and kind of separated it out. So hopefully I don't miss anything. And we're gonna go ahead and get started. This is probably gonna be a pretty long video. The first thing that I have here is by AOA Studio, which is their house brand, and it's just a lip oil. And this one is a coconut scent. They had other scents, I believe, as well, but I got the coconut one. So this is by AOA Studio, which is their house brand. Almost everything that I'm gonna share with you today is from AOA Studio. I think I have a few products that are from different brands, but most of it is from their house brand. I'm just gonna, oh gosh, this smells good. If you like coconut, it smells so good. You guys know I love lip oils, so I knew I definitely wanted to try one of these. Okay, I'll quickly show you a few little random tool type things that I got. This is probably one of the things I'm most excited about, and this is so random. I guess this makes me kind of strange because I was very excited to get this. This is the acrylic mixing palette set, and so basically this is one of those cute little palettes that you see makeup artists using. So this one is clear and it says AOA Studio on it, and it comes with a little spatula tool, so you can like pick product up with it and mix it on one of these. I've just always wanted one of these. I guess I've always wanted to feel like I'm a legit makeup artist, so I was super excited to get that. And then I also got this, which I think is so cute. It's just a little handheld mirror that says AOA Studio on it, has a little cat on it, and I believe they donate a good bit of their sales to a charity that helps animals. So I think that's why they have a lot of the little kitty cats on their stuff, which I'm a huge animal person, huge cat person, so I love that. But it's just the cutest little tiny handheld mirror. And this, you guys, these I've heard about for years on YouTube, and I have always wanted to try them. I'm not sure why I haven't, but they've always kind of been on my imaginary list that I keep of things I want to try, and it's their Paw Paw Wonder Blender Sponge. So this is obviously looks very similar to the original Beauty Blender. I got a pack of 6 because I have a feeling I'm gonna love these. I just see so many people raving about these. Like, who was I watching the other day and they were using, oh, it was Jessica Braun. She's always using a pink sponge in her videos, and the other day she said that this was the sponge that she was using. I just constantly see people talking about these. Oh yes, part of proceeds will go towards protecting animals against abuse, which I love. Okay, so here is what it looks like. Literally looks just like a beauty blender, and right off the bat, very soft and squishy. So I have a good feeling about this. Should have dampened it already, so I'm gonna go do that and I will be right back. Okay, so I just dampened the sponge and it definitely got a good bit bigger, very soft and squishy. So I'm very excited to try that out. Okay, so the first thing I want to use is this, and this is probably what I added to my cart first on the website, and it's the AOA Studio Wonder Cover in the shade Peach. So if you watch my videos a lot, you will know that I always apply a color corrector under my eyes. no matter what, and I'm always looking for new ones. And if I can find affordable ones, that's even better. So this one is in the shade Peach. Looks like a really good color. So this is definitely a little bit of a moussey texture. I'm gonna put a little there and a little on my outer corner. Yep, definitely more of a moussey consistency and definitely a little bit drier feeling. It kind of feels like a cream corrector, like in a pot, but just with a wand. And then to blend this out, I'm gonna use one of these brushes. So these two brushes came together. One is more of a foundation brush, and one, you could use it for eyeshadow or concealer, whatever you want. But I want to use this for corrector today. So this is what it looks like, and this is called the AOA Studio High Def Brush E104. So it's kind of just a little, kind of reminds me of my Smashbox concealer brush. So I'm going to use this and blend this corrector in. Wow, okay, so this corrector is very, very pigmented. Probably used too much, to be honest. But it's a really good peach color. If you have circles similar to me, like mine are more blue, purpley undertones, a peach color like this will really help camouflage that. Ooh, that looks good. Okay, let me do this eye. Okay, so I definitely used too much, but the color for corrector looks really, really good. So I'm gonna take the sponge. Oh wow, this feels so soft and nice. And I am just going to kind of blend out this corrector a little bit. Okay, yeah, that helped. So as you can see, this is super, super pigmented, but the color in terms of a correcting shade is really, really good. And I feel like I'm kind of a corrector expert at this point because I use one every day. Even when I wear like hardly any makeup, I wear a corrector under my eyes. So I know a good one when I see it. And the color of this is really, really good. Really, really good. So I'm excited about it. We'll see how it does when I put concealer on top, but so far, so good. Okay, I zoomed you in a little bit more so hopefully you can see. You can see this really did help correct the darkness under my eyes. It's crazy. Okay, so moving on to a face product. I actually picked two because I was originally going to get one and then I saw another one that intrigued me, so I got both. The first one is the AOA Studio Prowear Foundation, and it comes in this cute little bottle with a pink top. Reminds me of like the MAC Face and Body bottles. I got two shades. I got, let's see, Fair Ivory and Buff. So I got two different shades. Honestly, I'm not sure if either shade is going to be great for me, but we'll see. And then I also got this because this got such good reviews, and it's the AOA Studio BB Cream, the Perfect BB Cream. And I'm trying to decide which one I want to use. Okay, I think I'm going to go in with the BB Cream. We might even use a little bit of the Prowear on top, maybe. Oh, you know what? So I was just reading the back of this, the BB Cream, and it actually says, gives the face a luminous glow to eliminate dull skin for brighter appearance. Apply a small amount under foundation or wear alone to enhance your natural skin tone while reducing fine lines and pores. So it's kind of, I guess, like a primer. So we will go in with this right now. So this one is the shade Light. So there it is right there. So it definitely does have pigment to it. So I'm just gonna dot it all over my face. And then I'm going to use this brush that I got in that duo with the other brush. This is the high definition brush, the F4. And we will start blending this in. This product in particular got really, really good reviews online. And I definitely am that person that looks at reviews. I know reviews are not everything, but I do really like to read what people say about products. So the package says skin perfecting and color correcting. So it kind of makes me think it's supposed to be like a color correcting primer. Ooh, feels really good. And if you see me looking over here, it's because my main mirror is over there. So I'm trying to see what I'm doing. So there it is. Wow, okay. So I don't know if it's gonna pick up on camera, but it definitely did tone down the discoloration on my face. I mean, it didn't cover it up and totally change my skin tone completely, but it definitely did kind of tone it down. Wow. So I could definitely see someone wearing this on its own for sure. It's very, I would say, more of a natural finish. It's not super dewy, but it's not matte either. It's like right in between. It looks nice. I'm not sure I see any like blurring quality to it, but it definitely does tone down discoloration on your face, which is cool. So I will show you both shades. I feel like these may both be a little bit light for me in the Prowear foundation, but we'll see. So there is the shade Fair Ivory, and then there is the shade Buff. So we have Fair Ivory and Buff. Fair Ivory is definitely more of a warm undertone. Buff is definitely more of a neutral to pinky undertone, I would say. So we're gonna probably just mix a little bit of both of them and hopefully that will work. So I'm gonna take my little palette here and I'm gonna put a little bit of Fair Ivory and then a little bit of Buff as well. The consistency is pretty thick on these from what I can tell. So I'm just gonna mix these together. So I'm gonna use that same brush we used for the BB cream. And I am gonna go over everything with the sponge as well. Okay, so this color isn't bad. It's maybe a little light for me right now, but not bad at all. So again, it blends in pretty easily for a thicker product, which is nice. I like the shape of this foundation brush as well. This is very similar to my other brushes that I always use. So there is, that wasn't too much product at all. I still have a good bit left on my palette. The finish, again, similar to the BB cream, very much, I would say more of a natural finish, not dewy and not matte, right in between, which honestly, that's my favorite. If I could choose any finish that I wanted, that would definitely be it for me. So the color on me actually is really good. I don't know if it's from having the BB cream underneath or I don't know, but the color is not bad. The coverage right now, I would not say is full coverage. I would say it's more of a medium coverage. But like I said, we didn't use much product. I still have some left on my palette. So I'm going to take my brush and just get some directly from the brush or from the palette. And I'm going to bring some down my neck as well. I'm so excited about this palette, as weird as that sounds, because I always see makeup artists like on Instagram and stuff mixing foundation and concealer and even lip colors sometime with a big palette like that, and I just always want to mix things. So now I finally can. Still with that additional product on top, I don't think it's full coverage, but again, I am not typically a full coverage kind of person, and I didn't use much product as you saw. So if you really build this up, this probably would be a full coverage. That's just not typically what I personally do with my makeup. But now I do want to take the sponge and just kind of go over everything. This sponge feels so soft on my face, and it makes me so happy to have like a 6-pack of sponges like this, because I feel like sponges are kind of one of those things where you kind of have to use them for a little bit and then throw them away and replace them. I know you can wash them and you can certainly reuse them, but I just feel like after a while they kind of get worn out and you just need to get a new one. Let's move on to concealer. Once again, I got 2 shades. So this is the AOA Studio Liquid Concealer. It says it's a natural finish, good for all skin types, creamy, non-drying, and long wearing. Okay, so I have 2 shades here. I have the shade Light Ivory and Fair Ivory. So yeah, I'm thinking we're definitely gonna mix these. So we have the shade Fair Ivory and Light Ivory. So as you can see, Fair Ivory is a good bit more warm, more of a yellow undertone, and Light Ivory is definitely more of a pinky undertone. So we'll just mix a little bit of both. Okay, so I'm gonna take a little bit of Light Ivory and mix in a little bit of Fair Ivory. And we have a little cocktail here. I have no idea how much to apply, so we're just gonna go with that. And I'm gonna go in with that same brush that we used for our corrector earlier, and we will start to blend this in. Okay, so that blended in really easily. Very nice coverage. Again, I would say with this amount of product, it's definitely more of a, I would say light to medium coverage, but again, I'm not going in full force and using a ton of product. Do the same thing on this side. Actually, the color is not bad for me having to mix things together. So there is one little layer blended in. It looks really nice. Okay, yeah, the color actually looks really, really good. It's pretty impressive, you guys. Okay, I'm gonna take what is left on my palette and get it directly on my brush here and tap it on the face. Okay. And then we will take our sponge and lightly go over this. Okay, so here it is blended in. To me, it looks pretty good. Again, right now I would say this is a medium coverage concealer, but again, didn't use much product. So I think because this is a thicker consistency, if you used a good bit, you probably would get more of a full coverage. Same with the foundation, but it looks pretty good, you guys. I can definitely see if you had more dry under eyes and you didn't moisturize really well, that it might be a little bit drying under the eyes for you. So that's just something to consider, but as of right now, I'm pretty impressed. Okay, next we're gonna move on to a little bit of a cream bronzer, or they call this a cream contour. It's the AOA Studio Sculpt FX Contour, and this is just a little baby cream stick. They had multiple shades of this. This one is the shade Nutmeg. So there it is right there. It's definitely a little bit more of a cooler undertone. And I don't typically contour too much. Sometimes I do, but we're just gonna use this and see what happens. So I am just gonna put a little bit on my cheek, and I'm gonna take my same foundation brush. Okay, that kind of just blended away, I feel like. So I'm gonna take a little bit more. So you can definitely see it. It definitely blends away quite a bit though when you blend it out with the brush. And I don't know that I love the color, but I don't know. We'll see. Let me try this side. And it could also be that I'm not using enough product, but I don't want to go in with too much. Yeah, I feel like, I mean, it's definitely there, but it's so subtle. Let's put some on my forehead and see. It is easy to blend out, but it almost blends too easily. As weird as that sounds. So there it is. I mean, it's very, very subtle, as you can see. Like, you can barely see it there on my forehead. Yeah, I don't know about this. I'm gonna take a little down my nose as well. I almost wonder if I had gotten a different color, maybe I would have liked it more. I don't know. We'll see how it looks once I get the rest of my makeup on, but I'm not sure about that one for right now. Next, we will move on to this. So this is one of the things that was not from AOA Studio that I got, and it's by Amuse Cosmetics, and it is a powder, bronzer, and blush. So one is obviously bronzer, and the other is a peachy pink blush. I immediately thought of NARS Laguna and Orgasm when I saw this, so we will see. The bronzer looks a little bit dark for me. Ooh, yeah, it is for sure. So there is the bronzer. So the bronzer is like the opposite of that cream contour. It's very, very warm. So I'll just have to go in with a very, very light hand. So there is the blush and there's the bronzer. So I'm gonna go in with the bronzer side first. And I'm gonna start on the forehead. Okay, so I'm just gonna very lightly go in on my face with the powder bronzer. Okay, yeah, so definitely very, very deep for me, but I used a really light hand, so it should be okay. So this color is a little deep for me, but it looks nice as long as you're not using too much. I just kind of dabbed a bunch of it off on the back of my hand, but it looks pretty nice. So I'm gonna go into the blush here. Just apply a little bit of this. Pretty. Go in with the same thing over here. Ooh, that color is really pretty, you guys. Definitely does remind me of NARS Orgasm a little bit, but not as much, or it doesn't have the shimmer in it. NARS Orgasm has a good bit of golden shimmer. Ooh, but that looks pretty, you guys. And one more thing I did get, this is probably gonna be too much, but I'm gonna use a little bit of it anyway. It's one of their AOA Studio Lumi Radiant Blushes. This is what it looks like. They had a bunch of colors in these. This one is in the shade Ravish. And I wanted to try this because I thought they might be similar to like the Hourglass ambient lighting blushes. I'm going to take just a little tiny bit and kind of sweep it on the apple of my cheek and back. Ooh, okay, so that combo is actually really pretty. Okay, so this one is definitely a lot less pigmented than the Amuse one, but it's nice. I know it's a lot of blush, but I actually kind of like it, especially this time of year. I just really like that kind of look. But I'm just gonna take my damp sponge once again, and this is something I do all the time. If you ever just want to kind of tone things down on your face, just go over your face with a damp sponge. Okay, and now I wanted to use a little bit of powder. So I have this one. This is AOA Studio, the Perfect Finishing Pressed Powder. So it's just a light, I guess it's supposed to finish, not necessarily set your makeup. So we will use a little bit of this. So I'm gonna put a little bit in the center of my forehead, down the sides of my nose, my chin, and just a little bit along the perimeter of my face. So I'm gonna take just a little bit of the powder with just a little eyeshadow brush, and we will just lightly set my concealer. Okay, so my impression of this powder is it's a very, very thin powder. It's kind of one of those, it's a silky powder. So it's very, very sheer and very smoothing feeling, which I personally like since I'm not a huge powder person. But it looks pretty nice. I don't notice it on my face when I look in the mirror here, which is good. Okay, for the brows, I got two different pencils. So they have this one, which is from AOA Studio. It's called the Slim Brow Pencil. So it's really tiny, very similar to like the ColourPop pencil, or let's see, what else is this similar to? Kind of similar to the NYX pencil. So that is a swatch there, and this is the shade Medium Brown. And then this is the Sculpting Brow Pencil, also from AOA Studio. It does have, they both have a spoolie on one end, and then this one is the angled tip. So I am going to use a little bit of both. So I'm first going to brush my brows up with the spoolie, and I'm going to start with the Sculpting Brow Pencil, and we're just going to very, very lightly fill in anywhere where I have like larger gaps in my eyebrows. Always hard when you use new brow products. Does anyone else feel like that? Because you kind of get used to using certain things on your brows. So I'm just kind of lightly filling in right now. So this is a pretty, I would say, waxy consistency. So is the mini pencil from just my swatch, which can be a good thing if you know you struggle with brow products kind of wearing off on you. Okay, so I just kind of lightly filled in this brow, and this color is perfect for me, which makes me really happy. I always get nervous that I'm going to pick the wrong color of brow products. And as you can see, it looks really nice and natural. I like that a lot, actually. So that one I'm pretty impressed with. Now we'll just take the Slim brow pencil, and for this I'm gonna go kind of through the brow and just make my little brow hair strokes. Yeah, this really reminds me of the NYX brow pencil, and I actually really like that pencil. So there it is, filled in. I think that looks pretty good. So I'm just gonna take the spoolie and brush through again, just to make sure everything is really evenly distributed. But the color is perfect, perfect, perfect. Now we're gonna move on to the eyes, and I have a few different eye products. I'm not gonna do a ton on the eyes today, but the first thing I wanted to try is this. This is the AOA Studio Perfect Eye Primer. They actually had a bunch of different eye primers. This was just, I feel like this one got good reviews, so I picked this one. It's definitely very, very tacky feeling. It kind of reminds me of like the Urban Decay primer potion. Feels kind of like that. So this has like a tiny bit of pigment to it, but it definitely does not cancel out discoloration on the eye. So I'm guessing this is more of a primer made to make your shadow last longer. So there is the primer. It feels nice. We'll have to see how it does with shadows on top. But first impression is it feels pretty good. I got a few things for the eyes. The first thing is this. This is also from AOA Studio. It's one of the XL long-lasting shadow sticks. And this one is in the shade Dust. And it's a matte, so there's no shimmer in it or anything. So that is it right there. It's definitely more of a warm brown, but really, really pretty. And then I also got two of these. These are the AOA Wonder Baked Eyeshadows. So I got one in the shade Toast, which looks like just a really pretty gold. So that is Toast. And then this one is the shade Cubano. And this looks like, ooh, that's pretty too. That one is more of a bronze, has a little bit more of a brown undertone to it. And the other thing I got for the eyes is just one of the AOA gel eyeliners. So I'm thinking what I'm gonna do is take the shadow stick first. And for this, I am just gonna draw a little bit of this color where I can feel my crease. So I'm leaving my eye open and just kind of tapping some on. And I'm gonna do one eye at a time because I've never used these before, so I'm not sure how much time you have to work with them. And then I'm just taking a little eyeshadow brush and just lightly blending this out. Okay, so there it is. That color is really pretty. It's a very natural, kind of honestly goes with the discoloration on my eyelid. It's really pretty, it looks really natural. We're gonna go in with a little bit more. I wouldn't say this is like super, super pigmented, which is fine with me because it gives you, makes it a little easier to work with sometimes. Okay. So there it is, very pretty. Honestly, it looks like I just put a cream bronzer on my eyes, which I love. I do that all the time. And this is very easy to blend. I would say it's not difficult to blend out, so you don't have to worry about applying it and then it being stuck and not blendable on your eye. So very impressed with that. So I'm gonna quickly do the other eye. So now that we have that laid down, I'm going to go into one of the Wonder shadows. And this one is the Cubano shade. And I'm just going to take a small eyeshadow brush and I'm going to apply a little bit of this on my outer corner and just kind of tapping, tap, 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 tap. And then what I want to do is take a bigger fluffy brush that doesn't have any product on it. And we are just going to lightly blend that out. They had a few eyeshadow palettes on the website, but nothing that really stood out to me that was in stock. So I just got a few of these single shadows. Okay, now I want to take the Toast shade, and I am actually going to use that same little eyeshadow brush, and I'm going to spray it with their setting spray. So this is the A+ setting spray from AOA Studio. And I want to see, sometimes with baked shadows like this, they work really well damp, or with a damp brush. So I am going to lightly apply this to the portion of my lid where I didn't put the Cubano shade. Very pretty. Those two colors look nice together. I'm going to take my finger and see how that does. Okay, so actually, yeah, it looks better with your finger. Every time I try to use brushes with shimmers, they just don't seem to work as well. So definitely your finger, I would say, is the way to go with these. And now I wanted to use just a little bit of the gel eyeliner. So I'm just gonna apply a little bit of this to the outer half of my lash line. And I am gonna go back into the Cubano shade and just a small little eyeshadow brush and just kind of go back and forth and kind of smudge that out a little. I just want something that looks like really, really messy. Okay, so what I will say is the liner definitely sticks. Like, it did blend on my lash line, but I wouldn't say it blended super easily. So keep that in mind. You gotta work quickly with this one, but the color is nice. And it feels very creamy, but you definitely need to work quickly. So I'm putting a little bit in my waterline as well, just to see how that works. So since it's so creamy, it's easy to put in your waterline, which is nice. We'll see if it smudges at all or anything. But that is, I think, all I'm gonna, oh, actually one more thing I wanted to do is I'm gonna take the shade Toast again with the small shadow brush that I used a second ago. And I'm gonna run a little bit of this on my bottom lash line. Now we're gonna move on to mascara, and I got two things. I got the AOA Fat Lash Primer Mascara. So this is just a lash primer, obviously. And then for the mascara, I got the Fat Lash Mascara. I've been really liking primers lately for my eyelashes, so we're gonna try this out. Okay, so this is really white. It's a really tiny little wand. Has your white primer on it. I definitely like this wand. It's very nice and skinny, so it makes it a little bit easier to really get in there with the primer. So there's the primer. It's a pretty thin feeling primer, like the formula. Okay, so now we'll go in with the mascara. This is the Fat Lash Mascara. So it has a really skinny little silicone wand. So there's the mascara on that eye. Yeah, I don't know about this, you guys. So the primer seems to kind of be clumping my lashes together. I mean, it's definitely kind of adding volume, but I don't know. It kind of feels like the lashes are kind of gooped together from the primer. So I don't know. It could be maybe I just like this mascara without the primer. Okay, so there's the mascara. I mean, it looks nice, but when I'm applying it, I can definitely feel where the primer is getting like kind of gooped together in my lashes, and I don't love that. I mean, it looks okay, but I don't think this is gonna be a go-to mascara for me. Let me quickly put a little bit on my lower lashes. So it actually applies pretty well on my lower lashes, so it makes me think maybe the primer is what's causing the goopiness. It did work pretty well on my bottom lashes though, so there it is. It looks nice, but yeah, I don't love it with that primer underneath. It makes them feel kind of crusty. Last but not least, we have the lips, and I actually did not get a lip liner. They had a few that were colors that I liked, but they were out of stock, so I just didn't get a lip liner. And so I'm just gonna go straight in with this. This is the AOA Studio lipstick, and this one is in the shade Shore, which just looks like a pretty nude. That is it there. It's a pretty pinky nude. And I'm just gonna go straight into my lips with this. That's nice. This feels almost silky. That's interesting. It kind of has a moussey texture to it. It's very thin. Color is pretty though. It's almost identical to my natural lip color, which I love. All right, and then I have two of these. These are the Lip Pop, the AOA Studio Lip Pop lip glosses. So I have two. I have this one, which is the shade City Girl, which looks like a deeper nude. And then I have this one, which looks like it has a bit of shimmer in it. And then that is the other one. It's the shade Goddess. So it has less pigment, just a lot of shine to it. So I feel like City Girl is too dark for what I have going on right now. So I'm gonna go in with the shade Goddess. So this is nice. This again feels similar to the lipstick. It's not as moussey feeling, but it's very thin, which I personally like in lip products. I do not like thick, sticky feeling lip products on my lips. That's just not my thing at all. But those two together actually look really nice. Okay, and then last but not least, you guys, we will take the setting spray I showed you earlier. Box in Makeup, lightweight, matte finish, non-drying, and long-lasting is what it says. So let me test. Okay, see how this works. So the mister is very fine, which is like my #1 thing with setting mists. I cannot stand it when they feel like they're spraying you in the face. Mister is pretty fine. It has a little bit of a scent, but it's very, very mild. It's kind of a light florally scent. So I'm just going to, one more time, go around my face with the sponge. Okay, so that is going to be it for this video. This is the finished look, and I wanted to quickly kind of go over my thoughts on these products and the things that I really like based on my first impression, and that I will continue to use for sure. For sure, if you need a new sponge, pretty much anybody that does makeup at all needs a sponge of some kind. Do yourself a favor and go buy a pack of these, because you cannot beat this for the price. I think they're $1.55 for one, or like $6 for the pack of 6. So good. I would not buy a $20 beauty blender when you can get this for $1. As far as the foundation and concealer goes, so what I will say is the foundation up close still looks really good, you guys. I mean, it looks nice. I don't know, because we used the BB cream and the foundation, if it's the combo of the two or what. I mean, the color is definitely a little bit light for me. It may not pick up on camera, but it is a little bit light. But in person, the foundation looks really good. I mean, I just have to say it. It looks very natural and skin-like. Gives coverage, but it's not too much. It doesn't look cakey. So the concealer, I will say, looks a little bit dry now under my eyes. I'm not surprised, because it was a very thick formula. And the corrector was also pretty thick. I do think that maybe I should have used less corrector. I think that might have been the mistake that I made, because this is definitely a drier, moussier formula. But I will definitely continue to use this corrector and just use a small amount, because it corrected so well. The color is so good. You just need to use it sparingly. In terms of bronzer and blush, I would probably pass on the contour stick. It wasn't bad, it just didn't do a whole lot for me. It could be the color I have. Very creamy, but almost too easy to blend. But with the powder layered on top, it looks really nice. I was actually very impressed with this, the Amuse Cosmetics bronzer and blush. These two really surprised me. These, again, very pigmented, so if you're going to use them and you're around my skin tone, I would use a light hand. Maybe dab some off on your hand first. But very impressed with those. The powder I like. So far, it looks nice on my skin. I do not notice a powdery look at all, which is one of the biggest requirements with me in terms of powders, just because I don't love powder in general. But pretty impressed with this. I don't know that I love it under my eyes. I don't know if it's the concealer or the powder under the eyes, but it definitely looks a little bit dry. But on my face, it doesn't. My face does not look dry at all. The eyes. So I actually really like all of these things that I put on my eyes. I think they're super nice. The shade that I like the most of the Wonder shadows would be Toast. I do like Cubano as well, but Toast is just a gorgeous shade. I feel like this is pretty universal. So I feel like if you have a similar skin tone to me, you would like it. If you have a deeper skin tone, I still think you would like it. The cream shadow stick was nice. I don't think it's necessary. I think you could probably get the same effect with a bronzer, but again, for $1, it's nice. It worked well. It blended out well, and I liked it. Same with the eyeliner. It looks really nice. You can see it smudged out on my lash line. Definitely have to work quickly with it though, so just keep that in mind. It's not something that you have a ton of time to play around with, but you can smudge it out if you want. It does apply pretty well in the waterline. It has not transferred down at all, which is pretty impressive, because that is an issue I typically have with eyeliner in the waterline. A lot of times when you blink, it will transfer down. So far, that hasn't happened. The mascara and the primer, I would probably pass on. Again, like, they look nice, on the eyes, but the mascara and the primer together was definitely kind of difficult to work with. It could definitely be that I would like the mascara on its own without a primer underneath, because it did apply pretty well on my lower lashes and I did not use primer down there. I'm also not noticing any flaking or anything so far. So those are my thoughts on the mascara. Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention, I don't have too many thoughts on this yet. The eye primer, it did apply well on my eye. The shadows applied well on top. Obviously, I don't know if this will keep the shadow on longer or not yet. For the lips, love these two lip products together, actually. The gloss and this lipstick. I really like this. This is different from anything that I have, but it's just really, really creamy and nice. A little bit more of a matte finish than what I typically go for, but I don't know, something about it I just really like. I like the consistency, I like the color, and I like how it feels on my lips. Same with the gloss. It doesn't feel sticky, and I like the shine that it gives on my lips. Setting spray. I don't know, again, if it will help my makeup last or not, but it does feel nice. I didn't notice any droplet marks on my face, which is good. Sometimes that happens with setting sprays. So far, so good with that. Oh, and the other things I did want to mention quickly, this little palette, I will use this so much. This made me so happy to get one of these. So nice, and to have the little mixing tool with it. I love that. That makes me so happy. And is that it? Oh, the lip oil, I like it. It's pretty standard lip oil. If you like coconut and you like a really glossy, wet look on your lips, you would probably really like this. And yeah, I think that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I just wanted to thank Miss A for reaching out and sending me these products. I so appreciate it. It means so much to me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you're interested in trying any of these products, I will have a link to the Shop Miss A website down below, and thank you to them one more time for sending me these things to test and share with you guys. Please give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. Please subscribe if you're new. I would love to have you here, and please go follow me on Instagram at simply.blair. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time. Remember, simply be you. Bye.